Hi everyone, it's Zoe here from Living with a Sleeve. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just wanted to have a quick chat with you about what to do if your weight loss is stalling. It's been coming up quite a lot lately within our Living with a Sleeve community and also here in the clinic. So I just wanted to, run through a few different options, a few different reasons why it might be happening as well, and what you can do about it. So just while we wait for a few more people to log on, what I wanted to mention to you is that we do have our sleeve community up and running, and everybody in there is fabulous. So if you want some more information about the community and how to become a member, you can go to livingwithasleeve.com and have a look there. It'll come up across the top. Just click on the Tell Me More button, and within that community you get access to me really regularly. We post things like challenges and member stories and also live Q&As so that you can ask questions regularly as well. So what do you do if you're stalling? Let's start with maybe why a weight loss stall can happen first. Often weight loss is not linear, so especially within the first 6 months or so, I wouldn't worry too much about a stall. Often what you'll see is that you'll be going down and you'll lose quite a lot to start with, and then it'll kind of plateau out a bit, usually somewhere between the 6 and 12 month mark. What tends to happen is instead of it going down like this, like a really linear fashion where you lose a kilo a week for the first 6 months, that your weight loss will often go in steps. So you might stay the same for a week, 2 weeks, sometimes even a month, and then you'll see that you'll drop a few kilos in what seems like overnight. That's really normal and it's not an issue. And so I think within the first kind of 6 months or so, don't get too stressed about the scales and what those scales are saying. Often also what happens is the scales might not be changing, but you're still losing dress sizes, your shape is changing, you're still able to do a lot more, your fitness is improving, and it's really important to focus on those things rather than just what's on the scales. Secondly, if it is longer after your sleeve, so 6 to 12 months to maybe 18 months after your surgery, it's likely that your weight loss is kind of stabilized, and that's okay. Usually that will be around the 60 to 70% of your weight loss. I wouldn't worry too much and put too much emphasis again on what that number is, but I know sometimes people get frustrated and they want to lose a little bit more, or long term they start gaining a little bit and they want to get back on track. So if that's you, like you really think that you should be able to lose a little bit more and you've discussed it with your surgeon, you feel maybe like you're getting off track a little bit, then these are the things that we can do. First things first is I would sit down and really think about what's going on. Usually there's some reason why the weight loss has stalled or stopped, or the weight is coming back on again. Most of the time I find with people in the clinic, it's because they're eating when they're not actually hungry. So they might be eating at night in front of the TV, or they might be eating because they're bored or stressed or tired, and they're not actually physically hungry. The key here is to really take a hard look at yourself when you're eating and kind of try and figure out if there are times during the day when you're eating when you're not hungry. So the best question to ask yourself before you eat is just stop for a second and think about it. Be a little bit more mindful and ask yourself, am I actually hungry? Because sometimes your body will say no. And if that's the case, then you can weigh up whether or not you actually still feel like eating. But sometimes even just asking that question is enough to really just give you a little pause for thought and get you to kind of stop then and go, actually, no, I'm not, I'm fine, I'm going to go and do something else instead. So if the answer is, so the question, am I hungry? If the answer is yes, then the next question is, okay, well, what do I really feel like? Okay, because whatever's going to satisfy you the most is what you should eat at the time. If you really feel like chocolate and then you go away and you eat a thing of yogurt because that's healthier, oftentimes what happens is you still feel like chocolate at the end of it. And then you're like, well, no, I'll go and have a piece of fruit because that's healthier. And you're like, I still feel like chocolate. eventually what I find people do is that they eat the chocolate anyway. And what you've done in the process of getting to the chocolate is eaten a whole bunch of stuff in between. So if you go, I'm really hungry, I really feel like chocolate, or I really feel like yogurt, or I really feel like fruit, have whatever you really feel like, because that will help you to feel more satisfied by your food. But do not eat it in front of the TV, and actually concentrate on what you're doing so that you actually enjoy it, so you taste it and you feel the texture in your mouth. So back to the am I hungry? If the answer is no, then the next question is, well, why do I want to eat? What is going on? Is it because I'm bored? Is it because I'm tired? Is it because I'm stressed? And then what else can I do? Because if you're not hungry, and we normally turn to food, sometimes you'll end up in the fridge with the door open, you're going, oh, I'm not even hungry, what am I doing here? Then you need to have something else to do instead. So really kind of focusing on, okay, well, maybe I'll go have a shower, maybe I'll paint my toenails, maybe I'll call a friend, maybe I'll do X, Y, and Z instead. That's the best way to kind of distract yourself, and often just distracting yourself for a few minutes is enough to get you out of that thought process of I want to eat, and then you'll find that you're able to go through to your next meal. So checking if you're eating when you're not hungry is the first thing. The second thing is to go back to basics. So if your weight loss has stalled, or you have started to put on weight again, and you've had a look at your eating habits, then I want you to go back to basics. So go back to like your protein and your veggies, and focusing on quality and getting the quantity right, making sure you're not overeating, and really, you know, you should feel like you're finishing at about a 7 out of 10. So I'm satisfied, but I'm not quite full yet. Go back to thinking about those eating habits. So small mouthfuls, chewing your food, taking your time, take 20 to 30 minutes to eat your meal. And if you can do that, then you'll probably find that you actually eat a little bit less. Sometimes just focusing on quality again will get rid of some of those extra foods that kind of sneak in as time goes by. Check your drinks too, because sometimes drinks can contain a lot of calories that we don't kind of realize and we don't adjust for within our meals. So be on the lookout for drinking extra juices or milk, maybe cordials, soft drinks, and try and think about reducing those during the day. The other side of the equation is the exercise. So are you moving during the day? Are you doing some strength exercise, so you're building up that muscle again? Are you doing planned exercise, or are you just kind of incorporating it into your day? But if you're not, or you think that there could be an improvement, or maybe the exercise side of things has slipped away, then sit down and kind of put a game plan together for how you might incorporate more exercise into your day. So I hope that's helped a little bit. What I will do is post in the comments a link to how to eat after a sleeve, which is just the basics of the sleeve diet, because that's what I want you to go back and have a read of if you feel like your weight loss is stalled. It's really getting back to basics and going back towards what we started with, and just reading that information again can sometimes just remind you of a few things that you used to do but you've forgotten about. I'll also post in there about the eating habits, so you can have a look about how to eat after your sleeve, and just go back through again, remind yourself whether or not you've forgotten a few things. Maybe you've sped up a bit, maybe you've started eating in front of the TV again, maybe you're pushing the boundaries a little bit and you're eating a bit more than you perhaps should be, so you're feeling a bit uncomfortable. And finally, remember that if your weight loss is stalled and it's still in the first few months after surgery, please don't stress about it. It will get better, it will keep coming off, and it's completely normal for weight loss to happen in a step-by-step sort of fashion, rather than just losing a kilo a week every week for 6 months. Alright, I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. If you've got any questions, as always, pop them in the comments here or post on the page, or you can email me at zoe@zoewilsonnutrition.com, and there's heaps more information about this on my blog at livingwithasleeve.com as well. You can find out about the community there too. So I hope to see you all soon. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll chat to you soon. Okay, bye guys.